There's so much going on with this set that I had to show you the unboxing experience too. So inside the main box, we've got these two smaller boxes that have about half of the parts each. Got two instruction booklets. We have some instructions for the electronics. We have stickers. We have two printed pieces, and we have a card of some kind over here. And everything is actually in a different language. I'm not sure what other language this is. I need to look it up. I think it's Chinese. The back of this shows off some of the features, but again, they're in Chinese. Let's take a look and discover some of these things as we go. I've watched the videos. I do know in general some of the things that it does, such as the head opening up, this face piece can come off. You can look inside. You can see the vignette in there. There's a vignette in his torso that can get covered up by a cloth piece, and then there's vignettes inside as well, and there's a entire chess set inside, and there's something like 8 figures. So there's a lot going on here. So here are the parts you'll see, and the biggest part here is this base plate, and it's actually a plate, so it has anti-studs and it's completely transparent. I don't remember the last time I've seen something like that before. And then just a close-up here of the stickers. There are a couple stickers that you need to apply. Here are the two printed pieces. It says Bobland. I'm not sure where those go just yet, but you know, it actually has a number on there. This one's 4514. So I do wonder if they are individually numbered. So this says AreaX and so AreaX Bobland limited edition and a number on there. So that might be indication that these are individual and unique. Two instruction sheets tell you a little bit more about it. They do have battery boxes for the lighting. And I'm a little disappointed that they are using just kind of these pretty standard battery boxes, but these are your button cell style boxes. But here's a surprise. I didn't realize it comes with a clock. So it has a clock in it too. And so they're saying to put a AA in there, and then the clock will function. As far as the parts go, you know, there's each of these bags, they have numbered bags within the larger bags. So here's an example of some of the characters that you're going to assemble. There's quite a few of them. I did find that the feet tend to come off of the figure, which was kind of strange. Oh, the other thing I got was this card. So this is inside the box too. It says Bobland, and it has this collectible card in there as well with some type of number on the back. I'm not sure what that number is. So I'll have to get some translations done on all of these things to kind of understand it. But that's cool that they had that as well. The parts do look familiar, as far as they do look like Lego parts, but some of the colors are unusual. Like this one, I can't say that I recognize this color. It's almost like a cream. It almost looks like a food, but I can't quite put my finger on which food it is. The other colors seem about right as far as, red, black. Here's another bag to show you. For example, there is another printed piece here. So it looks like it's a mix of printed as well as stickers. And if you look, there's another couple of light boxes in here. So these are yet another style, which is USB-C rechargeable. So this probably has batteries that are rechargeable inside, and then you flip it on, and oh, hey, it works. So that's a blinking one there. Maybe it's a two-step, or is it only one step? So it's only one step and it blinks. And then here's another one, and it's a light strip. And yeah, again, it blinks. So there's a lot of lights in here. And then I see some plates and some pieces that are unique, like this one. This is not something you find in like the Lego portfolio. And then speaking of lights, we do have these, which I'm not a fan of. These are the 2x2 cylinders that you twist and then the lights come on. So what that means is if you want to activate all of the lights inside this, and there's quite a few lights. I found even more. Like there's another one of the two more of those twist ones in there. So that means if you want to turn on the lights, it's not flipping a single switch. You got to go around and find all the switches and turn them on and twist them. So there's like, so far I've counted 4 that you've got to go around and find and switch. Oh, there's another one, 5. So there's quite a few. So here's yet another one, right? This one I can't turn on through the bag because it has an isolator strip in it, but it's again one of those 1x4s. Yeah, so a lot, more of the characters there. Lots going on. I found the clock. It's in this white box. That's the clock. And check this out. Here's the clear piece for his face. That's for his eyes. So that you can replace those eyes with these eyes and you can see in. This is the clear torso piece. And there is there's his mustache. And this is a cloth piece that covers that clear torso so that you can he won't be naked. Oh, and a screwdriver too. Check that out. Screwdriver with some screws. Of course, you've got his head. So and do this carefully so I don't drop it, but it's, look at this head. That's just, I wonder, yeah, I don't know how it comes apart just yet, but I mean, just, does it hinge? It looks like it's got a hinge, but I don't want to break it. So, oh wait, okay, it pops open and then flips open. Oh my gosh. I mean, look at this custom piece that was made for this set. So it comes forward and then opens up. I mean, that's so cool. And then you've got his crown. So his crown is this kind of this beautiful gold, and it's got these like pom-poms, I guess, that go on the top of it. I mean, so nice. The color on there is really nice, very even spray on there. Really, very, very cool. So previewing the instructions, here's more of a look at what we're going to expect. And, I mean, there's like a whole castle build inside of there too, which is surprising. Here's a look at building all of those figures. There's so many of them. I mean, they're so cool. And they have capes and accessories and hats. So you start off building the foundation of it. And I can't even tell you what's going on with it. I know that it has these really interesting armatures that make a lot of unexpected motions happen at the same time. There's your first light brick going in there. And look where they put these lights. They're pointed up like they're spotlights. That's clever. I hope that they're easy to get to switch everything on. So you're building up the base. Here's one of the city vignettes. And then all around this base, it looks like you're building these decorations in this monochrome. That's a really nice look. And then here's where those plates, those tiles go. It says Bobland. And then here's your storage for all your chess pieces, and you're building the chess pieces. Yeah, so there. Oh, so I guess it's in like a tray that slides out there. So it's in a tray. All your chess pieces are in there. All right, and then the second booklet, you're building some of the, is that a facade that goes on the inside? Really a lot going on in there. I don't even know what this, I don't even know what I'm looking at. That's that's how amazing this set is. Like I just don't, they've packed so much into it. It's like they just let this designer loose. You know what I mean? So somebody who understood bricks, understood all the things that are available out there, they just let them loose. Like, look at this cushion and how cool this cushion is. It's all quilted, and they use these heart-shaped pieces, sort of as the the buttons that go in that quilt. So the entire back of it looks like a throne. So I guess everything we were building just then was facing the other direction. Yeah, it's facing the other direction. So you, from the back, it's got a whole kingdom going. And then from the front, it's his throne, but it folds open so you can access things on the inside. And then look at all of this gearing. Like, I have no idea what this gearing is going to do. And then here's some of the lights, a huge circular piece, which I assumed was like the base of his torso. So here's all those gears, and it looks connected to maybe the base of his torso, or maybe this is his head. So maybe these gears move his head and also move some sort of fake clock that's up in the front. And so here you're seeing the assembly of the torso, the head, the different pieces. So yeah, he does have an entire like throne inside the head. So inside the head, there's yet another throne. Here we are putting together his crown, his cape. There is a scepter, and here's all the different pieces. Oh wow, you get, I think that the little dog's name is, I want to say is it Rico or something like that? Yeah, you get the dog too. Wow, and I don't know what's happening here. Is this something else that you see when you open up his head? And then the chess set, I guess, slots into the back, and then these two chessboard sides come out of the side, and now you have an entire chess board that you can play with. And then look at this. There's an, you can clap your hands, and that will turn something on or off. It looks like it's saying that these two light boxes are sound activated. So when they hear your clap, these two light boxes will turn on. That might be what's happening. Tiny little builds up in the front here too. Oh, and it's showing you where to put your clock. So I guess the clock faces the rear side. The front here has this vignette of a tiny city. And so I think what you do is you fold open each side, and then this middle section comes out automatically because of the way that it's sort of engineered. And then more information here about the lighting and where to turn it on and off. So, wow, so much going on here. I'm looking forward to building this. In case I didn't mention it, BrickSewer and AreaX sent this to me. They knew that this was kind of a dream Bonkers set for me, so I'm so thankful. All right, so I'm going to get to building, and then we'll see you on the other side. Hey friends, I have something very, very special today, and this is the Farmer Bob Bobland set, which is a collaborative with the toy company called AreaX. So who's Farmer Bob? Farmer Bob is a designer art toy. It was created in 2013 by a South Korean designer named Jo Young Woon. It's via the art label Finding Unicorn. This particular set has 2,873 pieces, and it has 8 figures, including one little dog figure named Bom Bom, and it's set number AB0210, made by AreaX. So this set is something that I've wanted. I never thought I would get it. Thank you to AreaX and BrickSewer for providing this set for me to check out and then to share with all of you. And there's so much to see here. Let's get started. I don't even know where to start. We'll start with what we're looking at. I mean, it is like a, I don't know, it's like a bust with a giant Farmer Bob with a crown. And we're going to go in, and his head opens up. You can swap out his eyes with clear eyes. He's got um, this mustache that clicks in. He's got an entire diorama or vignette inside his head. He's got another vignette inside his torso. This cloth cloak comes off. The front opens up. There's a hidden chess piece in there. The back of the throne opens up. There's a working clock. There's so much going on. So, oh, and not to mention the 8 figures. So we'll look at those as well. All right. So I don't even know where to start. Why don't we start with, let's start with the back, back here before we get to his head and everything that happens over there. So you can see there's this like ornate castle and there is a clock. And the clock is a working clock. You put a AA battery in it and it actually tells time. And look at this, the hands are actually custom made. So this is this silhouette you see here. This is Farmer Bob, you know, with kind of this mustache and everything. So they've actually made the hour hand out of that silhouette. So it's a custom little metal piece there and it's telling the time. The funny thing, when I was making this, the instructions happened to say 6:15 in the instructions, and it happened to be that time when I was setting the clock. So I thought that was really unusual. I love these like jewel pieces, lots and lots of gold, and the way that they accomplished how ornate everything is up there, like just really, really cool. And there are quite a few decorations in this set. This one is printed. This one is a sticker. Some of these are stickers. And so I couldn't quite figure out why they were choosing certain things to be stickers versus printed. So that's something that we'll come back to in a second. Down at the bottom here, we'll show you this in a second. This is where all the chess pieces are hidden, is back here in this tray. All right, and then coming around to the front, or actually, let's look at the side real quick. So you can see these like, I don't know what you'd call these. They're almost like these miniature versions of the land, of the kingdom. So different structures that you see in this light tan and gold colors. Really very nice. And like that's, of course, like that's a printed piece. There's different things that are printed. Here in the front here, again, more of these miniature land and skyline type of miniatures. And it does say Bobland here. It says AreaX limited edition number 4514. And it came with these too. These are printed and these are printed too, but it has like a generic one. So the one that I got actually has a number. So I believe that 4514 is probably a serial number for it. Along the side here, you see additional miniature versions of the kingdom all in here. And while we're here, you see there's a hidden light switch there. There's one of the battery boxes are back there. Really interesting uses of these colored pieces just to kind of create this almost like a skyline in miniature. Along the base, right before we get up to his torso, you see some miniature, like almost like a mini city, or you know, a little marketplace in here. This is a printed piece. That's a sticker. That's a sticker. Little tiny trees, if you see here, that's a tiny little tree there. We've got a train. We've got a bush. We've got this guy here too. It's like a tiny little sign with a flag. And that sign is I want to say that's a printed piece on that tiny little tile. So some things are printed, like these rooftops are printed, and then some things are not. They're things that you have to apply yourself. All right, so let's start taking a look at Bob, and then we will open it up, because actually this opens up too in the front, but let's take a look at Bob a little bit closer. So here's his crown, and it's multi-part. You have to kind of click it together. Really nice gold there. His entire head comes apart. So we're gonna do that. All right, so now you see there's a vignette inside of him right there, right? Which has all these gears and really interesting things going on with it. All right, so with his head, opens up like that. And then there's a vignette on the inside that can be turned by turning the scepter. And so it changes the different vignettes. There's a throne to put another figure in there. There's Bom Bom, the dog. And it's just so wacky in there. That's what's inside of his head. There are lights too for the inside of his head. So this one, I want to say it is sound activated. Yeah. So the one on the inside uh, is sound activated. So there is a light, like a light strip that runs along the base here. I mean, it's just so over the top there. And there's another light um, inside of his torso that's also sound activated, but I have the feeling maybe the battery ran down. We'll check it once we get to it. This here, so I'm taking his normal face off, and we're going to replace with the clear face and put that in there real quick. So you can see what he looks like. And the thing is that because moving the mechanism makes sound, it ends up turning the lights on and off because it's making sound. So might have been better if they just didn't have this sound activated. That way you could just enjoy the lights without it constantly turning on and off. In my model, I do need to mention that the other side of this mustache, there's magnets on the inside. My model was missing those little magnets. There's two magnets here and here. And so I was able to find replacements at my local Home Depot, and that solved it. All right, so then that's the part of his head here, right, that we can do. So now we've got that off, and we've got his torso, so we can actually take his torso apart and access this light box here, which I might regret doing. When actually the whole thing pulls up, maybe we'll start there. And I wanted to show you also the interior. So the interior opens up like this, and everything kind of pushes forward and presents itself as you open it up. I mean, it's really smooth, a really nice feel to it, right? So it opens up like that. Something just fell down. All right, so that's the interior, which is powered by a 2x4 little battery box, and it powers these 1x4 plates that are run in the back there. So it lights it up, looks like there's a little bit of a sky, almost looks like that, and then there's a tree back there, two trees back there, and then this is like tiny little city. So you get this tiny little city with the cloud build in the back and different structures, pillars that are all in there. I like these little houses back here, and some hidden things in the corners too. Here as a kind of a hidden area, and then over here there's a bit of a hidden area. And so what you can do with that is this scepter that we took off, it has a magnet in it. So the idea is you're supposed to be able to tap one of these little light bricks. These are light bricks here. These 2x2s are light bricks. So it's a little hit or miss, but let's see if we can get it to happen. So you go up to it, tap it. There we go. So tapping it just the right way makes that come on, and then tapping it again makes it go off. And you can do the same with the other light brick on this side. Now this one, I have way less luck getting it to come on. Even when it comes on, you can barely tell that it's on. Oh, there we go, we got it. So that one comes on too, and it's like magic. Here's a closer look at that. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know how a magnet is able to turn this guy on and off. Oh, there we go. And it's almost like it's got a mind of its own. There's no sure way, there's no like absolute discreet way to make sure you're turning it on and off. You just kind of, there we go. You just kind of keep waving the magic wand until it works, and then eventually it works. But yeah, I do think those are interesting additions to it. It's almost, there's so many different things I have never seen in a set before, and that's one of them. I'm having a magnet inside of a piece that then turns on the lights inside of another piece. Like, yeah, I've never seen that before. All right, so this all closes back up. Oh, and there's decorations too here. It says Bobland right there. And of course there's, you know, these kind of cobblestone things going on. There's just a lot in there. And I don't know if you can tell, but this here is a translucent dark, almost a dark purplish brown. And so I'll do a video, I'll show you a video of it in the light so you can kind of see, but there's so much of it and it's so dark that I thought it was black, but there's actually a lot of translucent pieces that are so dark they look like black, and that's in there. With this closed back up, you can see that this scepter, when I turn it, it ends up turning this little gear here, and that's what turns everything that's going on inside the head. We can also see here that the back of this throne, it's got this interesting like plush quilted feel to it. I've never seen this particular technique used to hold in these studs. So these are all hearts, and I'll pull one of them off. The hearts are on 1x1 studs, and the studs are fit perfectly into the void left by these curved plates. So there's, you know, 4 curved plates around it. There's a little tiny void, and I guess it's the wonder of the part engineering and the design of the system brick, but the 1x1 stud fits right in there and it holds. And so there you go, it fits right in there without a actual stud to hold it. It's being held in by the outsides of that stud. Looking at this too, you'll see more decorations on the side here, and these really interesting pillars in gold along the sides. There's some birds on both sides. There's a bird house, and I like this black heart that they've got there. And then all of these things are again super interesting for just kind of a really royal feel to it. And then this opens up too. Once that's opened up, it exposes the back of the clock. So it's got, you know, a AA battery in there, and you can kind of adjust it, get it in the right place. And it has these Technic pieces to sort of lock that mechanism in place to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And there is one more of those light bricks right there. So I don't know if I've ever successfully got this one to come on or not. I think this one's trickier because it has a 2x2 plate on the top of it. So maybe there's just not enough. So that one a little bit harder to do. And you can see there's some decorations along the back there. It's like a bunch of gold coins. And then this is a printed money bag with the $sign on it. This little headpiece is a printed piece with a Farmer Bob silhouette. So it's almost like this is like a hidden like treasury or treasure room for Bob. You know, that's kind of where he hides everything, is behind his throne. And the entire back here, it also lifts out, so I can just pull that off. There's a closer look at his torso, and the parts actually do spin. You can see that there is a clock. This is not a real clock. A lot of gears. And this is the other battery box. It is a USB-C rechargeable box, and that's the other one that's sound activated. I think I ran it down, and that's why it's not working. And here's the back. You can see it's holding up all those gears that are back there. And this one, the lights are actually these 1x4 plates there. I do wish they made the battery box easier to get to recharge and to turn on and off. Same with the one in the head. They're both very hard to get to. And for this one, I actually have to take the torso apart just to get to it and to charge it. And when it clicks together, it is really a solid click. So in order to get to it, I had to use a screwdriver to kind of pry it open. And then I'll be able to get to the on-off switch. Here I've got the front of the torso removed so that I can get to that battery box there, and I'm charging it right now real quick. But with it off, you can see a little bit better the interior of his torso. I can get that going. There we go. So all the gears moving. I like that little bunny. It's a two-piece bunny. His head is separate from the body. But it is keyed in so that the head has to be facing that specific way, which I thought was interesting. I got those lights working, but now they're alternating for each clap. One's going on, one's going off. Oh, I got them in sync. No, I didn't. Oh, they're both on, both off, both on. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh. So it's just chaos. Oh my gosh, there we go. Both of them on. Yep. All right. Wow. I've got Bob's head back together now, and we'll put his mustache back on. Really satisfying click there. Get that on there. And the click always ends up turning the lights on or off because of that sound. And let's take a look at the chest pieces. So they are actually here. Check that out. All right. So now we've got two chest pieces or chessboard pieces, and they have these tiles that just slot into each other like that. Pull this drawer and you get all of the chess pieces. Your pawns, your queen, the knights, everything, they're all in there for both sides. You can fully play with them on that entire board and enjoy. Here's 4 of the 8 figures that you get, and they have their own like accessories. This one is almost like a superhero. I think he's got an S on the back of him. And this one, I'm not sure what that is. Is he it's almost like a carny. He's got that kind of carny vibe to him. This one is got a Dracula vibe to him. This one, he's just friendly. He's got a magnetic head that magnetically holds on that hat, which is kind of fun. And you can see on the back, you know, I call him the superhero one because he's got that going on. And you can see for the back of this cape, the Dracula one, he's got little teeth. This little sad face on the back of that, that one too. But look at the multicolor for his head. That's really quite nice. So these are pretty good figures. The only part where they're sort of weak are the connection from the legs to the feet. Those are all directional too, so they actually can only, the feet can only go on one way, so you can't get left and right mixed up. But the arms and the hands, those are universal, so they are molded the same left to right. These guys are a little bit more fragile because they have hats, and these, or they have crowns, and they're not, the crowns are not held on by anything. They're just they just quickly and easily fall off. But this one is a magnet. I do wish that they had magnetized these other ones, because it would have been nice. I mean, they're just so prone to fall off. For the crowns in this particular hat, I do wish they were magnetized. This one, he's more of a gentleman. This one has a rose. He's more of like a clown kind of thing. This one is more of a traditional king, so he looks a lot like the king in the large version. And then this one, really interesting. Look at all that gold on him. So he's got a lot of gold on this dark gray, and even gold on the ear there. That's intentional. That's not a reflection. That's gold. And there's just it's just so well done. And the back here, his cape is also kind of stained in gold, and even his crown has a tiny bit of gold on it right there. You can see, yeah, they have a little bit of gold there for him too. If you are collecting these as figures, I think you'll be pretty happy. They're really unique, especially this gold one. I think these two are probably my favorites. So it's taken me some time to put into words how to describe this set. It is not like anything else I've ever seen before. And I feel like this set may have come about, if this is my guess, okay, that the designer behind Farmer Bob sketched out an idea. He said, you know, it's got to look like this. It's got to have a castle in the back. It's, you know, we need an oversized head. And then he went on to describe the functionality. I want you to be able to open it up. I want things to happen. I want a scepter that you can turn and spin. And somewhere in there, he's talking to a brick company. So the brick company says, well, we could put a real clock in there. What do you think about that? Yeah, do that. And then we could put lights in there. And there's this new technology that can do audio, like sound activated lights. And the designer's like, yeah, do that. Throw that in there too. And AreaX is like, hey, we have these new experimental bricks that are activated by magnets. Yeah, do that too. And maybe we can open it up, and you know, we could have this kind of present itself as it opens, and the designer's like, yeah, do that too. And so it starts with his just vision of a display that has these kind of miniature lands, and maybe he sketched out what it would look like for this pedestal and throne. It was up to maybe AreaX to just turn that vision into reality. And they pushed it. I mean, they really pushed it. Like these pieces are ginormous. This head is gorgeous. I don't know how they came up with the idea of a magnet here. I think it's probably so that you can have him look perfectly fine without that mustache, without being able to see any kind of connections to it. So I think that's really nice and deluxe that they did that. And you know, they have this really nice cloak with this fur pieces and these cloth. There's so many lights and things going on in there, so many different kinds of parts, lots of gold, lots of stuff that's printed too. That's the best I can think of how this came to be. In the artist's original design, I'm sure he sketched that it needed a chess element to it, and so that's how they ended up doing that. They said, hey, there's probably space in the back. Do you want to hide all the chess pieces in the back? And they're like, yeah, for sure. So I think it started off as his vision that then very quickly turned into a brainstorm with the brick people, and they just went wild. They just said, you know what, this, let's just shoot for the moon. And yeah, it's not going to be a cheap set, but I think with the collectors for Farmer Bob, I don't think they are scared off by that. I think for them, this is a premium set. It's extremely desirable. It's what they would want. They want just over the top, amazing set that has everything, almost no expense spared kind of situation. And that's exactly what AreaX has delivered here. Something just beyond anything I've ever seen before. I know of a follow-up set to this. It's called Farmer Watcher. I'll put a picture up of it. It is not the same, right? It's probably a lot smaller, but still kind of in the same vein. And so I'm glad they made that. We may never see another set like this that was designed by a true artist and then realized with bricks, and then with the brick company coming in and pushing it even further with the electronics. It's quite amazing. I'm kind of blown away, honestly. All right, and it's the kind of thing that if you're a Farmer Bob fan, or even if you're a fan of designer art toys, it's something that you're going to want to display. Okay, so that is my look. Like the video if you like it, subscribe, and I'll be able to keep sharing very unusual sets like this one with all of you. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and again, thank you to AreaX and BrickSewer. I will include a link. It's an affiliate link if you want to buy this. Don't wait too long, because I do think it may be a limited run. Okay, thanks so much.